requirements at public schools. The latest proposal seeks to lower the minimum mark that's required to progress in senior phase, which is your grade 7, grade 8 and grade 9. If approved, this means that it will require pupils to get 40% in their mother tongue and 3 other subjects, and for the first time achieve a 30% in 3 subjects in grades. Would also see learners move into the next grade. In studio now, we joined by the Basic Education Department spokesperson Elijah Mhlanga. Good morning to you. Thank you so much for coming through.
Morning, thank you.
Now, how did the department arrive at this decision?
Well, there's no decision as yet.
The proposal?
The proposal is that we need to make adjustments to pass requirements in grade 7, 8 and 9. And that came about after about 5-6 years of implementing caps in our schools, and we evaluated its impact on learners. And we therefore felt that there was a need for us to make certain adjustments to assist the learners and assist the system.
But what do you take into consideration before arriving at such proposals?
Well, we conduct an analysis of each subject every year. There are teams that are put together to analyze the performance of learners, the performance of a subject in every grade every year. And once that has been done, a report is given to the minister, and she asks academics to assist her with suggestions on what can be done to assist learners and to balance the curriculum situation in the country. And they make such proposals to her, and in turn she releases a gazette asking members of the public if they agree with her or not, and which is where we are right now.
Yeah. Just before we talk about that particular process, is this really solving the problem at hand, Dr. Mhlanga? We had Professor Mary Metcalf in studio yesterday. You do know her. She's a senior research associate at the University of Johannesburg, who was basically saying that the department is overlooking the actual problems within the education sector, the problems in relation to the lack of resources at some schools, and taking this route instead of actually solving the real problem.
We are doing a whole host of things at the same time. We are not doing one thing at the expense of another. For example, we are focusing now on foundation phase, and there are many things that we are doing there because we know that that's where most of our challenges in the education system come from. We've conducted research. We are now attending to that particular phase in the education system. But at the same time, we need to cater for those learners that are in the classroom right now who have already been disadvantaged due to historical reasons. And the last time I was here, you also asked me why was it that there was a high dropout rate. And I'm saying now that one of the things that's happening is that those learners that had already been disadvantaged are finding it difficult progressing in the education system. They fail until they drop out. For example, yesterday I received an email from a parent who says, my daughter is repeating grade 10 for the 3rd time. She wants to leave school now because she can't pass. So what can be done to help her? So those are the people that we're talking about. So 30% or 40% is not an achievement. You are not required to achieve 30% or 40%. That's a minimum. You're supposed to achieve at the highest. So we urge all our learners to work towards achieving the maximum marks on offer and not work towards achieving the
But this minimum that's been set now, or the proposal rather thereof, is it not disadvantaging them further for the future, not just looking here at their high school levels, but going forward to tertiary institutions? I think I asked you the very same question last year, to say that when they go to tertiary institutions, they are required to obtain 50% into the exams and 50% or more in the exams.
Well, we are not denying them the 50%. They can get it right now. In fact, it's freely available. All that they need to do is to work very hard. But here we are.
Shouldn't it start here? The encouragement for them to work hard? No,
they are already encouraged. That's what I'm saying to you. Families need to also set their own minimum standards and ignore the government one, because the government one needs to cater for everyone, the stronger students and the weaker ones as well. So in this case, we think of those learners that don't want to go to university or who want to do other things that are not available at university. So we are saying to them, they too have an opportunity to progress in the education system so they can explore other opportunities. So this proposal is not meant to disadvantage anyone. It's meant to create a situation where everyone feels they are worth something, by being able to progress and exit the schooling system and explore other opportunities.
Yeah, but couldn't there be any other options in terms of assisting these learners who struggle instead of setting this 30%, 40% minimum pass mark?
It is a minimum. We are not saying that it ends there. Yes, so they can get whatever is there available, like others are getting. I mean, we are seeing distinctions. We are seeing other people achieving A's right across. I mean, it's there, it's available. So don't work towards the minimum, because the minimum is just that, a minimum. So you can increase it.
But that says you can get this. If you can't get more, at least 30%, 40%. We know that the proposal has been published in a government gazette and open for public comment. Have you perhaps spoken to all stakeholders involved in the education sector? Because I remember that when the department dropped mathematics as a compulsory subject, you had unions like SATU saying, we were not consulted, we don't know where the decision is coming from. Actually,
we haven't. What happened last time when we had this discussion was that someone had leaked the document which contained the proposals which have gazetted now. So it's only now that we have gone out to members of the public to say, this is what the minister is thinking. So at that time, we had not consulted, but now we have consulted.
Okay. And what's their views?
Well, despite the objections, I mean, by yesterday, we had only received 7 inputs from members of the public.
Are they even aware of the proposal? That's the thing.
People are
Have
aware.
you gone down to the people affected?
That's where we start. That's where we start. We talk to people and we urge them to write their objections to the minister. It's actually an opportunity for you, anybody else, to take part in this process and object if you feel you need to object. In fact, we are even considering extending the date so that many more people can have an opportunity to have their say. Because if you object overwhelmingly, the minister will go with that public view. But if you don't, then she will proceed with the proposal that she has made to the public. So it's up to you as a member of the public to play a part and make your voice heard and tell her exactly what you think.
All right. When is the deadline for the proposal submissions?
Well, we have another 2 weeks, but as I'm saying, we think that we'll extend because the comments are very slow and few and far in between. So we feel that we need to do so much more work to try to create awareness around this process.
All right. So how do our viewers go about putting through their comments on this proposal?
Well, you can send an email to modipa.f@dbe.gov.za, or you can call us on 0800 202 933. That's our call center number, or you can just call me as well, 012-357-3773. We'll be able to help you. So whatever that you feel you need to do to get in touch with us, please do so. On Facebook, on Twitter, we are there, and we'll be able to respond as quickly as possible because we want as many people as possible.
All right. We have to leave it at that, Elijah. Thank you so much for coming through.
Thank you.
Thank you so much indeed to the Department of Basic Education spokesperson Elijah Mhlanga. What's the toll-free number again?
0800 202 933.
All right, that's the number to call if you want to submit your opinion and comments on this proposal. All right, let's take a quick ad break here on Morning Live. It's 15 minutes before we say goodbye.
Our stories.
How do I begin?
Our lives. When all seems to fail, we will raise our voices a bit louder for our justice.
Well, I went into absolute shock. My whole body was shaky. I couldn't hold a phone, but there he was. I couldn't believe the nonchalance that they were still in the area 2 weeks later.
times when the justice system is not able to help us with our individual battles.
I'm willing to do anything. What are you doing? Nothing. Feeling sorry for yourself? No, it's not an option.
These are our stories on Cutting Edge Channel 404.
Is it drugs? Is it terrorism? Is it bullying? It's climate change.
Avoiding the worst impacts of climate change will require global action to reduce greenhouse gas emissions. The 2015 Paris Agreement, aiming for a 2-degree warming limit, was a good start, but more needs to be done. Right now, the Commonwealth has the potential and responsibility to use the best available science to drive meaningful global efforts on climate change.
Climate change doesn't care where you were born or how much money you have. It's time to take action.
It's time to take action.
It's time to take action. It's time to take action.